Can you use all
There
this?
he is.
I mean, he's not gonna adjourn.
Huh?
Finish with you. Does it work for you?
Uh-oh.
As soon as Bryce and CJ get in here, we'll get this one done.
Huh?
I know that. That's what you asked him. Because that last time. Yeah, not to. Because that last time. Someone did that one. Smokes and wine.
Good. Hey, CJ. Hey, the white, the old Jim. The most sweet.
Guys ready? Is he going to make copies?
Yes. But I can read it into record then.
Let's, we'll come out of recess, we'll have the chairman of the Land Service Committee read the red line version with the recommendations and amendments into record while they make copies for us so we can get prepared to move on. So at this time, we're at amendments and recommendations. Before we organize, the senator goes ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, Secretary, Vice Chair, and attorneys, as well as guests. Will be very thorough and use the long version of these amendments. Just kidding, just the short version. The amendments that we concurred with each other, with the executive branch, legal, as well as our legislative legal. In section 1, the amendment will read as follows. Well, I guess I'll just read the whole thing here. Section 1, Commission of the Resurvey of the exterior boundaries of the Crow Indian Reservation. The Crow Tribe shall commission a survey of the exterior boundaries using available state-of-the-art technologies and methods in order to accurately mark the boundaries in such places as to provide adequate public notice and, if necessary, to expand the territorial jurisdiction of the Crow Tribe. This survey shall be conducted by surveyors enrolled in the Certified Federal Surveyors Program, who shall work under the supervision and direction of the executive branch. All such expenditures of the funds within the control of the Crow Tribe as may be required for this purpose shall be available, and the others under the appropriate budget department / code category contained will be voided. And in the fiscal year 2013 will be voided in Crow tribal budget, period. And then the amendment provided that the federal government shall provide maximum financial support of the Crow Tribe as required or allowed by federal law before tribal general funds are used for this purpose, period. And then I'm gonna do all 3 amendments. And then in section 2, commission of survey of Yellowstone River Islands. The Crow Tribe shall commission a survey of the Yellowstone River Islands and associated riparian lands south of the midstream points upstream from the 107 meridian, using available state-of-the-art technologies and methods for the purpose of determining exact acreage or location, and to review all legal rights and claims held by the Crow Tribe. The survey shall be conducted by surveyors enrolled in the Certified Federal Surveyors Program, who shall work under the supervision and direction of the executive branch. All such expenditures of funds within the control of the Crow Tribe as may be required for this purpose shall be available. And then we're gonna delete under the appropriate budget department / code category contained, and we're gonna keep the and delete fiscal year 2013, and then continue with the Crow tribal budget. And this is the amendment. The federal government shall provide maximum financial support to the Crow tribe as required or allowed by federal law before tribal general funds are used for this purpose, period. And then we go to section 3, and the amendment will be added: technical and financial assistance from federal government, period. So the technical and financial will be the amendment. The executive branch shall take all necessary and proper measures to ensure the federal government, consistent with its roles as trustee for the Crow tribe, and the amendment is, and as otherwise required by federal law, comma, assist with technical, legal, comma, financial is the amendment, and other logistical aspects of the surveys described in section 1 and 2 of this tribal resolution. And Mr. Speaker, those amendments, I believe was, as I read them, I believe there's the reports in section 5, report to legislature, Crow Tribal General Council, period. The executive branch shall report to the legislature through its designated committees on the status and progress of the surveys described in section 1 and 2 of this tribal resolution during the October 2013 is deleted, and in place is the April 2014 is the amendment, quarterly legislative session and every regular legislative session thereafter until such time as all survey efforts have been completed, at which time a final report on the survey shall be made in writing to the legislature, and the Crow Tribal General Council shall be a permanent tribal record to be kept by the executive branch secretary. And so those 4 amendments, I so move.
All right, we have a motion on the floor with amendments by Senator Goes Ahead. We have a second by Senator Not Afraid of the Lodge Grass District. Question by Senator Stewart of the Mighty Few District. All those in favor of the amendment at this time, raise your right hand. All those opposed? All those abstaining? Motion carries with a vote of 13 yes, 0 no, 0 abstain. This brings us to the second reading. Floor recognizes Senator Not Afraid of the Lodge Grass District.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, members of the body. At this time, I move that we waive second reading with the amendments. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
We have a motion on the floor to waive second reading with amendments. At this time, second by Senator Stewart of the Black Lodge District. Question by Senator Goes Ahead of the prior district. All those in favor, raise your right hand. All those opposed? All those abstaining? Floor recognizes Secretary of the House, Okro.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, members of the body. Our legal counsel just made me aware of a clerical error, so this would be just a clerical error. On the 7th line on section 1, under contained should not be in there. It's a leftover from the previous one. And on the 8th line of section 2, under contained also should be stricken out also. So those were just clerical errors, just for clarification. Thank you.
Do you have that, Executive Legal? You have that noted? Okay. At this time, we had a vote to waive second reading with amendments. The vote was 13 yes, 0 no, 0 abstain. That takes us to the final roll call vote, starting with Senator Stewart of the Black Lodge District.
Stewart, Black Lodge, yes. Other minutes in Reno, yes.
Kyra Reno, yes.
Not afraid, Oxbow, yes.
Covered up, yes.
Not afraid, Bighorn, yes.
Yes.
Deep Drain, Alpine, yes.
Goes ahead, Lou Darcia, yes.
Hugs, Arrow Creek, yes. Stewart, Mighty Field, yes.
Old Oxbow, yes.
Shane Reno, yes. What's the total, Secretary?
1300.
13-0-0. JAR passes with a vote of 13 yes, 0 no, 0 abstain. At this time, the floor recognizes Executive Legal Counsel. At this time is when you give your thank you. Ho, ho, ho.
I just want to thank you, Mr. Speaker, Secretary, Vice Chair, members of the body, and the public. It's good to be working together, good to get things done, and especially in this area, the treaty area, where we're trying to reestablish and reaffirm all the rights that we've had to date. The hunting rights was a very good step, reestablishing the lines of the treaties so that we know our rights and where to protect. And then we have a little bit more work left, but all this is very good, especially on this day. And I want to thank all of you very much for time and attention to all of this, and we're glad to be a part of it and help out. Hokajila.
All right, thank you. Vice Chair.
Dios Chamil, good day today. It's like, we said we work together, a lot of things could get done positive for all 13,000 tribal members. I thank you again. Thank you, Mr. Kyle Burns, for his diligence and his hard work in this very important area. And I look forward to working with this branch again.
Okay, that brings us, we have 3 more JARs, but it is coming down to the end of the day. So we'll call for a recess and we'll reconvene tomorrow at 10 o'clock to complete the last 3 JARs. Yes. Oh, Senator goes ahead. So is everybody okay with that? Senators? So is everybody going to be able to be here tomorrow?
10 o'clock. Sharp.
I know Senator Stewart is going to be on travel to Fort Bertha. Am I correct, Senator Stewart? So that's our only, which one is in your committee?
Next one.
The next one? Can we get that done within the next few minutes? Senators. Senator goes ahead.
Thank you. I believe if we can amend the agenda again, we can do the joint action resolution of the Crow Nation days, and we can knock that out today. That way we'll be left with 2 tomorrow.
I believe the one that's in his committee though is the Okabat, right? Is that the one that's in your committee?
Yeah, Mr. Speaker, the one I have ready for the floor is the Okabat Joint Action Resolution.
Okay. So we can get that one done within the next few minutes. That's gonna be up to you guys to motion to move on to the next.
Mr. Speaker, if I may,
Yes.
on the,
All right, I'll call you back.
I don't believe we have any amendments on any of these other 2. I think we just got one small amendment on the Okabat jar, and
Yes.
that's, Jay's getting that now. I mean, I don't know if you guys wanted to.
Yes. I know that there's supposed to be some amendments on manuals. So I believe if we can get yours done so that you can present or be here to recommend for approval or disapproval on yours, the one that's in your committee, we can get that one done right now.
Yeah.
So that's the next one, that's on the agenda?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's get this one done so that we can get your recommendation. The joint action resolution of the Crow Tribe to provide notice to the United States Department of the Interior National Park Service of the Crow Tribal policy of asserting absolute ownership and control of the Ocobat Access Road to the Bighorn Canyon National Recreation Area. Floor recognizes Executive Legal Counsel to read as quickly as I did.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, members of the body. I'll do my best auction voice, just like when we got Hairpin Ranch. I have this friend on Facebook who said, no, I'm just kidding. Okay. A joint action resolution of the Crow Tribe to provide notice to the United States Department of the Interior National Park Service of the Crow Tribal policy of asserting absolute ownership and control of the Ocobat Access Road to the Bighorn Canyon National Recreation Area.
Floor recognizes Senator Not Afraid of the Las Vegas District.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, members of the body. Motion to adopt.
Motion to adopt, do we have a second? Second by Senator Kyle Runs, go and proceed.
Whereas Article 5, Section 2A of the Crow Constitution vests the Crow Tribal Legislature, hereinafter legislature, with the power and duty to promulgate and adopt laws and resolutions in accordance with the Crow Constitution and federal law for the governance of the Crow Tribe. And whereas Article 4, Section 4A of the Crow Tribal Constitution provides that the general duties of the Crow Tribal executive branch officials shall include the duty to implement all laws, resolutions, and policies duly adopted by the legislature. And whereas Article 2 of the 1868 Fort Laramie Treaty between the United States and the Crow Tribe recognized tribal title to all lands within the exterior boundaries of the Crow Indian Reservation, and provided that all such lands shall be set apart for the absolute and undisturbed use and occupation of the Crow Tribe. And whereas the Bighorn Mountains are the heart of the sacred modern homeland of the Crow Tribe and have remained unallotted and held in common ownership by the Crow people. And whereas the Bighorn Canyon National Recreation Area was established by Act of Congress in 1966 as Public Law 89-664, an act to provide for the establishment of the Bighorn Canyon National Reservation Area and for other purposes. And whereas Section 2 of the 1966 Act establishing the Bighorn Canyon National Recreation Area authorizes Secretary of the Interior to acquire lands and interests in lands within the boundaries of the National Recreation Area, but that no part of the Crow Tribe's mountain lands or any other Crow Tribal lands shall be included within the recreation area unless requested by the Crow Tribal General Council, and that any such tribal lands so included may be developed and administered in accordance with the laws and rules applicable to the recreation area, subject to any limitations specified by the General Council and approved by the Secretary of Interior. Whereas the Crow Tribal General Council by tribal resolution passed on May 20th, 1967, Resolution 67-59, approved a proposed memorandum of agreement with the National Park Service, providing for the Crow Tribe's participation in the Bighorn Canyon National Recreation Area, including inclusion, double word there, of over 56,000 acres of Crow Tribal land within the boundaries of the recreation area. Whereas in December 1967, Crow Tribal Chairman Edison Reelberg signed a modified 50-year memorandum of agreement with the Secretary of Interior, Stuart Udall, and the Director of the National Park Service, which, among other things, provided that Crow Tribal land be included within the boundaries of the Bighorn Canyon National Recreation Area, and allowed such tribal land to be administered, developed, and used by the National Park Service as part of the recreation area. And whereas the Crow Tribal General Council unanimously declared by Tribal Resolution 76-32, titled A Resolution of the Crow Tribal General Council of the Crow Tribe of Indians to reconsider a memorandum of agreement between National Park Service and Crow Tribe, that the 1967 memorandum of agreement was improperly modified from the original approved version and was therefore invalid, that all Crow Tribal lands were withdrawn from the Bighorn Canyon National Recreation Area, and that any and all proposals, plans, and requests by the National Park Service to attain a right-of-way for a highway, roadway, or access road across tribal lands of the Bighorn Mountains are rejected and denied. Whereas in 1979, the Secretary of Interior rejected Tribal Resolution 76-32 and sought to reaffirm the legal validity of the 1967 Memorandum of Agreement. Whereas the Crow Tribe has never retreated from the position established by Tribal Resolution 76-32 and has long acknowledged that no legal right-of-way exists across tribal lands on which the Ocobat Access Road was constructed. Whereas in the mid-2000s, the National Park Service proposed a land transfer of the Crow Tribe, which, among other things, would have established a 200-foot federal right-of-way across 3 miles of tribal land in the Bighorn Mountains on which the Oka Bay Access Road is located, and conveyed all tribal right, title, and interest to 90 acres of tribal land upon which the Oka Bay Marina and associated facilities are located. Whereas the Crow Tribe now seeks to provide official notice to the United States Department of the Interior of tribal policy asserting absolute ownership and control of the Oka Bay Access Road. Now therefore be it resolved by the executive branch and legislature in special session. It shall be the policy of the Crow Tribe to consider the 1967 Memorandum of Agreement between the Crow Indian Tribe of Montana and the National Park Service of the Department of Interior to facilitate establishment, development, administration, and public use of the Bighorn Canyon National Recreation Area as null and void due to not being authorized or approved by the Crow Tribal General Council as required by the 1948 Crow Tribal Constitution. Be it further resolved, it shall be the policy of the Crow Tribe shall be to keep the Oka Bay Access Road open to free public use for all non-tribal members, otherwise compliant with Crow Tribal law until such time as the Crow Tribal government determines it's in the best interest of the Crow Tribe to enact a closure, or until December 1st, 2017, whichever comes first. Be it further resolved, nothing in this tribal resolution shall be construed as a limitation or restriction on the lawful ability of the Crow Tribe to exclude non-tribal members from the Crow Indian Reservation, including any such lands as particularly referenced here in this resolution. Be it further resolved, the executive branch shall take care that written notice of this tribal policy is made as soon as practical to the Department of Interior, including the Office of the Director of the National Park Service in Washington, D.C. Be it finally resolved, this tribal resolution shall become effective immediately upon becoming duly adopted by the legislature and approved by the executive branch chairman.
Thank you. We're now in 30-minute presentation. Going once. Going twice, 30-minute presentation. Going 3 times. All right, we'll move on to Speaker of the House. Will ask the chairman of the Infrastructure Committee for approval or disapproval at this time. Floor organizer Senator Stewart, chairman of the Infrastructure Committee.
Hello, Mr. Speaker, Secretary, members of the body, and guests. On May 2nd, 2013, meeting was called to order at 1:50 p.m. Senator Gozahead gave us the invocation. There was 7 members, and the Oka Badjar was on the second item. And going through the reading, we came up with a motion for a recommendation for approval with the amendments. Motion was by Senator Gozahead, seconded by Senator Alden, questioned by Senator Heilbrunz. 7 yes, 0 no, 0 abstain. Recommendation to approve.
At this time, we have recommendation for approval by Chairman of the Infrastructure Committee. That takes us to debate. Floor is open for debate. First call. Floor is open for debate. Second call. Floor recognizes Senator Not Afraid of the Lodge Grass District.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, members of the body. The access road has never been truly defined. Since the days of the late Madam Chair and the Claranomi administration, there was talk during that time, and I did mention this during committee, that the administration of the day during the 1990s, in a dispute with the National Park Service, the administration at the time talked about bulldozing the road, the access road to the Oka Bay portion of the National Recreation Area. And I don't know at that time what actually transpired, what happened in the end, but the bulldozers were called back. I believe the Park Service was forced to the negotiating table at that time. And I know that in 2003, during my first term here, the Park Service took this branch on a tour of various sites, including the Box Canyon, Frozen Lake, as well as the Lynn Ranch in hopes of doing a land exchange and garnering a permanent access or permanent right-of-way to the Okaba area and marina. And another thing on the table was the 50,000 acres at least to the federal government for purposes of recreation as indicated earlier in the document. It's never been truly defined at the table. Chairman Old Coyote earlier said it best that we need to benefit from access through our lands. If we go into quote unquote the real world off the reservation, if you trespass on somebody's land, a fish and game officer, a sheriff's deputy will stop you and charge you with trespassing, criminal trespass to property. If you're asked to leave, you don't leave, or you go through without permission, they'll charge you criminally, charge you restitution for damage of those lands. On a daily basis, the non-Indian is going through our land, and it goes back to the 1960s Council, River Crow, Mountain Crow, Bajijula. By the council going Bajizo, which Crow Fair Wall Luke got Chuktala. And Mazabas fighting with one another, we didn't accomplish anything. Compensation, good God, Maku Teklagon. Mazabas said, condemnation of the recreation area, Kolala, was a whoosh, but they technically. And Mazabas said, on a daily basis, we just let that go. And I believe the positive change team is looking to make that change and assert our right with the help of the Crow legislature, the People's Branch, on a daily basis, trespass, or set up a toll booth. Yellowstone National Park, if you're a non-Indian, they have to pay a fee just to get into the park. And if they're going through Big, I believe it's time that we start benefiting from that trespass. We start benefiting from our own tribal members that are working. And Mr. Speaker, I just need to mention this. I believe it's germane because the National Park Service doesn't empower our own tribal members that work out there through the Bureau of Rec or the National Park Service, those that work within the taken area. Rights Paul recognized just Apsalogish, but Ishtit Bill, Balusagarik, but Iso will go, but Iligio Zugolo, De la Bastilish, Buleguigari, Kamal and Zamnik, but Bijulel, Buzak, and that's why positive change is here. Stand as one and stop the non-Indian from trespassing through our rights-of-ways, our tribal lands. Ilage all over the country, Gukabapta Chat, Bilkshu. Recreation area, boat all luhu, legala, dam, greg, village Bighorn Lake, but then Mazab Saiv, Gagitchilil, and Mazab Salagish Bilunk, and it's our turn. It's our turn to make the dollar off what belongs to us. Ilage Okaba Marina, go Malalio, Okaba Marina, go rental. Boats get out, rent out, get out, cafe always, and halagala, gapsalagus. Ikadish. We need to assert our rights, and Bobby's kusa, apsalagish, blewat, and the apsalagish. Hilaga, we assert our right, and Bilun, it's time we benefit. It's time we say, hey, it's our turn. It's time that we heal and we restore our relationship with the Crow people, that we heal from what actually happened during the 1960s. And today we move forward on those issues. And a speaker and what the Natural Resource Committee has brought together in conjunction with executive branch officials in constructing this document to assert our rights. And Mr. Speaker,
Aho. Floor recognizes Senator Stewart of the Black Lodge District.
Yeah, I just want to make it quick. Last year, down at the marina, probably for, it seemed like every weekend towards Labor Day, the last couple weekends or so, there was notices on everybody's vehicles. Said $5, you have to pay your recreation fees. And they were taking them either up there at the marina, or you would have to pull in down below, which is always the case. So, Senator Notafrey from Lodge Grass District, there has been a toll booth there already. But we're not the ones benefiting.
Yep.
They put a $5 recreational fee, and that's supposed to be under moratorium status, where they don't make no money, we don't make no money. But it looks like the only ones making money is them, and everybody in between, except for the Crow Indians. Because even Max Bach has stated it on the news, for the record. He said, we make $38 million on this side of the Wyoming border, never stating that this side of the Wyoming border is the Crow Indian Reservation. It's not about money. Right now, I'm telling you right now, it's about them establishing access illegally and making $1 on us.
That's right.
Because we could make money someplace else, but they're establishing access and making money off of the backs of our elders, the backs of our kids, and spitting all over our ancestors. This is something that we need to establish today. This is something that needs to get done. And right now, we've got that access going down to Okaba. Nobody's doing nothing about it. I'm tired of these old ones talking about it. They want someone to do something about this. And not just me, not just CJ's going to do something about this. Everyone's going to do something about this. We have 18 legislators here, 4 executive officials, all of us standing together. We're going to do something. And again, it's not going to stop here. We have to move with the momentum that we're creating. We can't get lazy. We have a state senator here. She's a Crow. She's still in office. And we can continue to use this influence and advantage that we have that takes us into those arenas, as well as the federal government. So this is something that I want to address to everybody. It's not debate, but we do have an amendment here, Mr. Speaker.
Okay, thank you. We're still in debate, going once. We're still in debate, going twice. Last and final call for debate. No more debate. We'll move on to recommendations and motions for amendments. So at this time, if you have a motion for amendment. Motion. Floor recognizes Senator Stewart of the Black Lodge District.
I have a motion for an amendment here that it's going to be under the now therefore be it resolved. I believe Jay's handing it out right now, and it's going to read as follows, if I can, for the record.
Yes.
Now therefore be it hereby resolved by the executive branch and legislature in special session It shall be the policy of the Crow Tribe to consider a 1967 memorandum of agreement between the Crow Indian Tribe of Montana and the National Park Service of Department of the Interior to facilitate, establish, develop, administration, and public use of the Bighorn Canyon National Recreational Area as null and void due to not being authorized or approved by the Crow Tribal General Council as required by the 1948 Crow Tribal Constitution and the 1966 Act. That's number one, Mr. Speaker. Going down, you got another be it further resolved, another be it further resolved, and a third be it further resolved. The executive branch, consistent with the Crow Tribal Constitutions, shall be authorized to negotiate agreements with the Department of the Interior, including any such agreements which would allow public and/or administrative use of the Okaba access road, subject to final approval by the legislature. Mr. Speaker.
Those are your amendments, motion for amendments. So we have a floor second by Senator Kyle Runs, question by Senator Goza. All those in favor of these amendments, raise your right hand. All those opposed? All those abstaining? Motion carries with a vote of 13 yes, 0 no, 0 abstain. That brings us to the second reading. Floor recognizes Senator Not Afraid of the Lodgegrass District.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'm trying to figure out what's going on here, but I'm assuming you're asking me to move to waive second reading with amendments and move to final roll call vote.
We have a motion on the floor to waive second reading.
Is that where we're at?
Yes.
Okay.
We have a motion on the floor to waive second reading with amendments and move on to final roll call vote. Second by Senator Not Afraid of the Bighorn District, questioned by Senator Stewart. All those in favor, raise your right hand. All right. Motion carries with a vote of 13 yes, 0 no, 0 abstain. We will move on to, so with that vote, we waive second reading with amendments and move on to final roll call vote, starting with Senator Stewart of the Black Lodge District.
Stewart, yes.
Other minutes in Reno, yes.
Kyle Reno, yes.
Not Afraid Ashbazecha, yes.
Carlos Velazquez, yes.
Not Afraid Bighorn, yes. Deep Green Arrow Creek, yes.
Goes ahead, yes.
Hug Zero Creek, yes. Stewart, Eagles Together, yes.
Old Cross, yes.
Shane Reno, yes. 13.
13-0-0.
Secretary of the House says 13. Joint action resolution passes with a vote of 13 yes, 0 no, 0 abstain. Floor recognizes Executive Legal Counsel, Mr. Lavadeur.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, Secretary, Vice Chair, members of the Committee of the Public, Crow citizenry, humanity of the world. Thank you, everybody. That was the fastest resolution I think I've seen since the creation of this body, but great again to be working together without belaboring the point. That's an important issue. Oka Bay Access Road, I know it's been talked about for a generation plus, and it's good to get a policy on that, and now it's time to roll up the sleeves and get to work. So thank you to the body and Hogajila on behalf of the executive, and defer to the vice chairman as well.
Floor recognizes Vice Chair Dana Wilson.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, members of the body. Once again, I commend you for your vote today, and we're on a roll. I think Manuel wants to go ahead and go with his too today. Could do it faster than the previous one.
Senators, do you think you can get the next one? Chairman? All right. We'll go on to the next one. Chairman of the committee says he can get it done quicker than that one. So that'll take us to the next item on the agenda, a joint action resolution of the Crow Tribe to establish Crow National Days of commemoration honoring the signing of the 1825 treaty with the United States, the 1851 Fort Laramie Treaty, and the 1868 Fort Laramie Treaty. At this time, the floor recognizes Executive Legal Counsel. I believe we're losing one legal counsel, so it leaves you, Melissa, to.
A joint action resolution of the Crow Tribe to establish Crow National Days of commemoration honoring the signing of the 1825 treaty with the United States, the 1851 Fort Laramie Treaty, and the 1868 Fort Laramie Treaty.
Motion to adopt.
Motion to adopt. We have a second. Second by Senator Kyle Bruns. Go ahead and proceed.
Legislative findings, whereas Article 5, Section 2A of the Crow Tribal Constitution vests the Crow Tribal Legislature, hereinafter legislature, with the power and duty to promulgate and adopt resolutions in accordance with the Crow Tribal Constitution and federal law for the governance of the Crow Tribe, and whereas Article 4, Section 4A of the Crow Tribal Constitution provides that the general duties of the executive branch officials shall include the duty to implement all resolutions duly adopted by the legislature, and whereas the Crow Tribe established a nation-to-nation relationship with the United States through the 1825 treaty known as the Friendship Treaty, which was signed on August 4th at the Mandan Village in present-day North Dakota, and whereas the Crow Tribe subsequently entered into treaties with the United States on September 17, 1851 and May 7, 1868, which were signed at Fort Laramie in present-day Wyoming, and whereas Article 6 of the United States Constitution provides that all treaties made under the authority of the United States shall be the supreme law of the land, and the judges in every state shall be bound thereby, anything in the Constitution or laws of any state to the contrary notwithstanding, and whereas the Crow Tribe, also known as the Absaloga Nation, or the Crow Nation, was in 1825, 1851, and 1868, and continues today in 2013 to be a federally recognized sovereign tribal nation with all inherent rights, privileges, and powers as a self-governing nation. And whereas it is in the best interest of the Crow Tribe to establish 3 Crow National Days of commemoration to honor past tribal leaders for entering into treaties with the United States which affirmed, recognized, and secured rights, privileges, and powers for the Crow people. Now therefore be it hereby resolved by the executive branch and legislature in special session that May 7th, August 4th, and September 17th of each year shall be officially recognized by the Crow Tribal Government as Crow National Days of commemoration honoring the signing of treaties with the United States. If any of these days falls on a weekday, it shall be considered a Crow Tribal Government holiday. All functions organized to celebrate the days of commemoration shall be considered cultural events eligible for cultural leave under Chapter 10, Part 1 of the Crow Nation Workforce Protection Act. Be it further resolved, the executive branch shall organize tribal functions to coincide with each day of honor, including community feasts, speakers and presentations, and other cultural and ceremonial events. All such functions requiring expenditure of funds within the control of the Crow Tribe shall be in accordance with the duly adopted Crow Tribal budget. Be it finally resolved, this tribal resolution shall become effective immediately upon being duly adopted by the legislature and approved by the executive branch chairman.
All right, that brings us to the 30-minute presentation. Okay. Going once, 30-minute presentation, going twice. Floor recognizes Vice Chair Dana Wilson.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, members of the body. I think it would be appropriate right now at this time. I'm a proponent of this. I'm glad that everybody stuck around and put the extra effort out. And I think it would be good at this time to recognize the chiefs that signed this treaty. If I may read their names into record, they're not here anymore, but Bagalos, so I'm gonna read their names into record. There's Pretty Bull, Wolf Bull, Mountain Tail, Blackfoot, White Horse, Poor Elk, Shot in the Jaw, White Forehead, Pounded Meat, Bird in the Neck, and the Swan. These were all men that these are great chiefs that signed these treaties, and at the time they foreseen into the future. They were looking out for us, even though they didn't know us. They were still looking out for our best interests, and they did their best for this. And I just thought that it'd be appropriate to recognize these individuals. Oh,
I believe, Secretary of the House, can we put that in the form of an amendment at later time when we come to amendments? We could just add there and to it be it finally resolved, or therefore be it that we recognize these chiefs who had signed it. Is that possible?
Yeah, I think that would be in the form of a motion.
Okay. All right, so when we come to the amendments part, we'll make that motion. Vice Chair, if that's okay, we'll add that at the amendments part, add their names to the resolution at that time. Is that okay? Okay. All right, so we're still in the 30-minute presentation going twice, 30-minute presentation going thrice. Third, yep, thrice. All right. That brings us to Speaker of the House. We'll ask the chairman of the, I believe this was in Mr. Senator Covers-Up's committee, which was the Treaty and Culture Committee. At this time, we'll ask for your approval or disapproval for organizing Senator Covers-Up.
Okay, we met with Melissa on the 1st of May, me and the speaker, and this we went through this one here, and there was no problem except for I think we just wanted to recognize that one day, September 17th, as a national. I think we have a copy, but I can't find mine now, so I think that'd be part of the recognized amendment that we coming in. So at that time, and then the following Monday, we talked about that, and Monday, everybody, there was 11 members of the committee that were here, and we asked for a recommendation, and the recommendation was for approval. And on this item here on the floor right now, so it's a go on this one for approval. Speaker.
Thank you. We have approval by the committee chair. That takes us to the debate portion. Floor is now open for debate. Going once. Floor is now open for debate. Going twice. Floor is now open for debate 3 times. Okay, we will move on. Floor is now open for recommendations or motions for amendments. I believe there is a red line version.
Yes, there is a red line version on this, and I think everybody's got a copy of that already, so I think it'd be be appropriate if you want the legal to read this into record.
The amendments part?
Yeah.
Okay. I guess the chairman of the treaty committee is asking for legal. If Jay's not here, I guess we'll have Melissa go ahead and read that into record on behalf of the committee. He wants a legal representative read into record so you can read the amendments.
The red line version.
Okay, so I'll quickly read the red line edits that the committee chairman came up. So the red line edits are only on the second page. The now therefore be it resolved language, that May 7th and August 4th of each year shall be officially recognized by the Crow Tribal Government as Crow National Days of Commemoration honoring the signing of treaties with the United States. Commemoration shall be considered cultural events eligible for cultural leave under Chapter 10, Part 1 of the Crow Nation Workforce Protection Act. Be it further resolved that September 17th of each year shall be officially observed as Treaty Day by the Crow Tribal Government as Crow National Day of Commemoration honoring the signing of treaties with the United States. If this day falls on a weekday, it shall be considered a Crow Tribal Government holiday the following Monday. All functions organized to celebrate this day of commemoration shall be considered cultural events eligible for cultural leave under Chapter 10, Part 1 of the Crow Nation Workforce Protection Act. Be it further resolved, the executive branch shall organize tribal functions to coincide with each day of honor, focusing on educating community members on Crow Treaty rights and in celebration through other cultural and ceremonial events.
Okay, so that is the red line version. At this time, we're looking for a motion with these amendments presented to the floor. Okay, floor organizes Senator Okro, Secretary of the House.
Motion to adopt.
We have a motion on the floor with the amendments. Do we have a second? Second by Senator Other Medicine. Question by Senator Hugs. All those in favor of the motion for the amendments, raise your right hand. All those opposed? All those abstaining? Motion carries with a vote of 13 yes, 0 no, 0 abstain. This takes us to the second reading. Floor recognizes Senator Goes Ahead.
Mr. Speaker, before we go to the second reading, I believe we have that amendment by the Vice Chairman.
Yes.
State the name, yes.
Yes, we forgot about
I
that.
believe it's gonna be on the second paragraph of the now therefore be it resolved.
Yes, that we will. So this will be a motion to add that list of chiefs who signed the treaty to be added to now therefore be it resolved. We are recognizing these chiefs who had signed those treaties and listing their names. Am I correct?
Yes, Mr. Speaker.
Okay. So is that your motion, Senator?
Yes.
Okay. We have a motion on the floor to amend it to add the list of the chiefs. Floor recognizes Senator Covers Up of the Lodge Grass.
I'll second that.
Okay, so we have a second. Question by Senator Not Afraid of the Lodge Grass District. All those in favor of the amendment of adding the list of chiefs who had signed the treaties, raise your right hand. (13) All those opposed? All those abstaining? Motion carries with a vote of 13 yes, 0 no, 0 abstain. This brings us to the second reading. Floor recognizes Senator Not Afraid of the Lodge Grass District.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, members of the body. At this time, I move that we waive second reading with amendments and go into final roll call vote.
We have a second by Senator Stewart, question by Senator Covers Up. All those in favor of waiving second reading and moving forward with two amendments to this joint action resolution, raise your right hand. All those opposed? All those abstaining? Motion carries with a vote of 13 yes, 0 no, 0 abstain. Motion was to waive second reading with both amendments and move on to final roll call vote, which brings us to Senator Stewart. Final roll call vote.
Stewart, Black Lodge, yes.
Other Other minutes in Reno, yes.
Kyle Grantrino, yes.
Not afraid, Oxbajecha, yes.
Cover Jeff Velazquez, yes.
Not afraid, Bighorn, yes.
Yes.
Deep Green, Arrow Creek, yes.
Goes ahead, the Rudas,
That was Arrow Creek, yes.
Stewart, Mighty Few, yes.
Old Crush, yes.
Shane Reno, yes.
1300.
Secretary of the House reports 13 in favor, 0 opposed, and 0 abstained. Joint action resolution passes with a vote of 13 yes. Floor recognizes Executive Legal Counsel Melissa Hosedemy.
I'd like to thank everybody for staying and getting this done, and I think it's a good thing for not only our youth, but all of our tribal members, so that we could always keep these dates in mind.
Floor recognizes Vice Chair Mr. Dana Wilson.
Once again, on behalf of the executive branch, we commend your efforts on the working together. You know, I believe that as long as we work together as two branches, you know, we could go a long way. Because in the past, you know, I've sat here and it was always a fight between the two branches, and it's good to see that the two branches are working together for the benefit and for the betterment of our people, the whole Crow tribe, all.
All right, we knocked 4 down, 1 to go.
Let's do it.
Floor recognizes Legal Counsel on behalf of the Executive Branch, Melissa Hosedemy, a joint action resolution of the Crow Tribe to claim and assert all treaty rights and privileges, including sovereign rights to land, water, air, and other tribal property of the Crow Indian Reservation.
Question. We.
A joint action resolution of the Crow Tribe to claim and assert all treaty rights and privileges, including sovereign rights to land, water, air, and other tribal property of the Crow Indian Reservation.
Floor organizes Senator Not Afraid of Lodge Grass District.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, members of the body. Motion to adopt.
Motion to adopt, second by Senator Covers Up. Go ahead and proceed.
Legislative findings, whereas the Crow Tribe in the United States, as a matter of treaty law, do each recognize the original handwritten pen and ink form of the treaties of 1825, 1851, and 1868, which were agreed to by the tribe for the protection of the Crow people and all tribal property rights, individual rights, and in recognition of the territorial governing authority of the tribe. And whereas the Crow Tribe, also known as the Apsalica Nation, or the Crow Nation, is a federally recognized sovereign tribal nation with all inherent rights, privileges, and powers as a self-governing nation. And whereas the Crow Tribe, being a nation within a nation and a longtime ally with the United States, has never taken up arms against the United States and continues to welcome the protection of the federal government in maintaining national security, and also welcomes the trust relationship between the tribe and the Secretary of the Interior for the protection and advancement of tribal and individual property and cultural rights. And whereas the Crow Tribe acknowledges and respects all acts of Congress made which further recognize the sovereign authority of the tribe, and whereas the chiefs and headmen of the Crow Tribe who entered into treaties with the United States were guided by visions and with their prayers to God, held a faith that the treaties would remain in full force and effect for all perpetuity, and thus mutually agreed upon by the parties. Now therefore be it hereby resolved by the executive branch and legislature in special session that the Crow Tribe of Indians, also known as the Apsalica Nation, children of the large-beaked bird of the United States of America, do hereby decree and declare as a nation within a nation that the treaties of 1825, 1851, and 1868 entered into between the Crow Tribe and the United States, as agreed, interpreted, and understood by the original tribal signatories, shall be considered the supreme law of the Crow Nation. Any laws passed by the United States Congress which are contrary to the treaties shall not be considered to abrogate, supersede, amend, or replace the treaties without the express consent of the Crow Tribe. Be it further resolved, the Crow Tribe hereby claims and asserts all treaty rights and privileges, including but not limited to sovereign tribal rights to land, water, air, minerals, fish, and wildlife, and other tribal property of the Crow Indian Reservation, provided that nothing herein this tribal resolution shall be considered a modification to the water rights compact entered into between the state of Montana, Crow Tribe, and United States of America, or a disapproval of the relinquishment of specified tribal water rights and claims as contained in the Crow Tribe Water Rights Settlement Act. Be it finally resolved, this tribal resolution shall become effective immediately upon being duly adopted by the legislature and approved by the executive branch chairman.
That brings us to the 30-minute presentation. Going once, 30-minute presentation going twice. 30-minute presentation going 3 times. Okay, that brings us to Speaker of the House will ask the chairman of the Treaty and Culture Committee for approval or disapproval. Floor organizer Senator Carfazon.
Okay, thank you, Speaker. This one here, we had a meeting on the first, and there was Melissa and Speaker Shane, myself, and on Monday, we talked about this one here on first, and we kind of come to an agreement that some of the wording in here needs to be changed, and we've got a red line version changing some of the Crow Tribe to Crow Nation, and the Crow Indian Nation, which was before reservation on the heading of the JAR, and along the line, everybody got a copy of this. I think that it's changing some of these wording to make sure that it is a kind of a concrete amendment, not really an amendment, but it's a red line version of changing some of the words. And on Monday, we brought it to the committee again, and everybody, and I explained to them that these red line version was coming, and everybody was in agreement that 1100, that they wanted to bring this to the floor and pass it. So at this time, the recommendation is to approve.
All right, we have a recommendation for approval from the committee chair. That brings us to debate. At this time, we're at debate. Going once. Second call for debate. Third and final call for debate. If there's no debate, we'll move on to recommendations and motions for amendments. At this time, I believe we have a red line version. Mr. Chairman of the Treaty Committee, are you requesting that Executive Legal read the red line version into record?
Yes, please. Should read this red line version that we're going to pass by the agreement with the executive, read by the legal counsel.
All right, floor recognizes Executive Legal Counsel Melissa Holtzdaven.
We just went through and changed a few things. Is it okay if I just go in and just mention the words that are changed since they're interspersed? Okay, in the title, there's from Crow Tribe to Crow Nation. So we struck out tribe and changed it to nation. And again, at the end of the title, we struck out reservation and put in nation. And the third whereas, a nation within a nation and a longtime ally with the United States has never taken up arms against the United States and acknowledges the protection of the federal government in maintaining national security and the trust relationship with the Secretary of the Interior. The last whereas, we changed the from God to the Creator. And at the now therefore be it resolved, at the top of the second page, from just change the spelling on supersede. And then be it further resolved from Crow Tribe to Crow Nation hereby reclaims and reasserts all treaty rights and privileges, and changed Indian reservation to nation.
All right, so that's the red line version. At this time, Chairman of the Treaty and Culture Committee, are these your recommendations for amendments? Or your motion for amendments, excuse me?
That was a vote for the amendments that's on the floor right now.
Second.
Okay, motion by Senator Covers Up for the motions, second by Senator Goes Ahead, question by Senator Not Afraid of Lodge Grass District. All those in favor, raise your right hand. Motion carries with a vote of 13 yes, 0 no, 0 abstain. That brings us to the second reading. Floor recognizes Senator Not Afraid of the Lodge Grass District.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, members of the body. At this time, I move that we waive second reading with the amendments and move into final roll call vote.
Second, we have a motion on the floor, second by Senator Stewart of Black Lodge, question by Senator Coyote Runs. All those in favor of waiving second reading with amendments and moving on to final roll call vote, raise your right hand. All those opposed? All those abstaining? Motion carries with a vote of 13 yes, 0 no, 0 abstain. That was a motion to waive second reading with amendments and move on to final roll call vote. Senator Stewart, if you would start off with the final roll call vote.
Stewart, Black Lodge, yes.
Alderman Reno, yes.
Coyote Runs, Reno, yes.
Not Afraid, Oshbaji, yes.
Over there, Lodge Grass, yes.
Not Afraid, Bighorn, yes. Deep Green, Arrow Creek, yes.
Goes the Rudas, Itchik, yes.
Arrow Creek, yes.
Stewart, Mighty Few, yes.
Full cross, yes.
Shane Reno, yes.
13-0-0.
Secretary of the House reports 13 yes, 0 no, 0 abstain. Joint action resolution passes with a vote of 13 yes. Floor recognizes Executive Legal Counsel, Melissa Holzenemy.
I'd like to thank each and every one of you for taking the effort to stay and work on this, but also give you credit for both of the branches continuing to work together and mark such a great occasion for our treaties. So I'd like to thank each and every one of you today. Thanks.
Floor recognizes Vice Chair of the Executive Branch, Dana Wilson.
Once again, I'd like to commend the branch for the hard work and diligence in working on this legislation. I was sitting here thinking about back in the old days when we first started out. Representative Not Afraid from Lodge Grass and Representative Goes Ahead from Pryor. We'd sit and we'd do most of the work that should have been done in committee meetings on the floor. And I commend all the committee chairmen for their diligence and hard work. A lot of this amendments and a lot of this discussion takes place in committee, and when it hits the floor, it works like clockwork. I mean, there's a few minor amendments, here and there, but those are handled pretty quickly by the staff. Commend the staff here, and once again, I look forward to working together in the future.
Thank you. That brings us to, we had moved on our agenda, old business, to the end of the agenda. Is there any old business? Floor recognizes Senator Stewart of the Black Lodge District.
Mr. Speaker, at this time I wanted to reserve, I believe that there's still some discussion. I just now got some more emails, and so we're going to reserve it for committee and then possibly come for a request for a special session.
Okay. All right, so that brings us to announcements. Any announcements at this time? Floor recognizes Senator Old Crow, Secretary of the House.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Tomorrow morning, Senator Gerald Stewart and myself were invited by the Vice Secretary of the Crow Tribe to meet with Veterans Affairs personnel at the Battlefield Conference Room. And if any of you are interested, you're more than welcome to attend with us. Go Shiwami, I think. There's at 8 o'clock tomorrow morning. Thank you. Veterans Affairs. What was that, 9? Oh, okay. All right, 9, I guess.
Okay, that's announcement. Senator Stewart, Black Lodge.
Tomorrow at around the same time, right, in Billings, Cloud Peak and different leaderships in the area. I guess they're getting together to have a discussion on the different transportation effects, different things with the coal. So Lucille will be attending, whoever else would want to go. I myself won't be able to, so.
Where's it at?
In Billings. Billings at, Sharon Paraguay is gonna give the information, and we'll go ahead and forward it to Jackie. She can go ahead and disperse it, and then whoever wants to attend at that time,
So whomever attends, Lucille, since you're already going, get a sign-up sheet for whoever attends so they can be sure and get reimbursed for their travel. Any more announcements? I believe there's a Head Start parade. Is it Thursday, the 9th? Head Start parade, and then Friday is Liberty Going College graduation. In the Head Start parade, they're asking, they've given us an open invitation that we want to parade, that we're welcome to parade with a Head Start. So it's up to you guys if you want to or not. And then we can talk about that more later. I believe that's it though for the announcements. For you 13 that stayed here, I thank you very much. Just letting you know, we received the jackets over the weekend. Jackie took your jackets to the monogram place. So as we speak, they are being monogrammed and should be done sometime. Did they give you a date? The 24th, the jackets will be done. Secretary of the House, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, or Speaker. I just wanted to acknowledge our staff, all the hard work that they did today, especially at lunchtime. They're trying to get things done here, and they had to rush out there and serve and rush back, trying to get things done here. I wanted you guys, I think they deserve a round of applause or something. Appreciation.
Yes, we have quite a devoted staff. I'm thankful for that. Floor recognizes Senator goes ahead.
I think we should give a round of applause to Bryce here. He stayed until the end.
His van has started and running, waiting for him outside right now. Yeah, but it's good. We got this done. And like what the Vice Chairman said, the committee meetings is what keeps it going. And when we get everything done in committee, we hit it to the floor. I'm glad that we had that meeting, even though some of you were up at the Hairpin Ranch. Senator Covers Up, myself, and Melissa, with the three of us putting our heads together, we were able to get through everything quickly, and we were able to concentrate and get it done. So I think it was to our advantage that it was just three of us here. So, but it's good. Today is a monumental day. And with Bartlett and West feeding today, I told them, you fed the people on a good day because this is a start of a new era for us. We're going to start celebrating our treaties, and I thank them. And that's what we have to do. Is there's more people coming to the tribe now, and good things are coming though. Good things are coming, but that's because both branches are working together. As we leave, you will see the vice chair and myself patting each other on the back. We all pat each other on the back. We're all doing a good job, and that's what we asked for. And we have to be here in retrospect to all 13,000 people. So I commend all of you for staying here today, and thank you very much. And we will see you later on this weekend, I guess, wherever we may run into each other. I don't think there's any committee meetings, is there, scheduled? Any committee meetings?
I think confirmations, remember, that they're coming up sometime.
We're gonna have to have a special session on the confirmations, right?
Yes, I handed out the memo to the branch, to everybody, and I assigned each, the appropriate committees that they should go to, so that way they can start having their hearings,
Okay.
go forward. As soon as they're done, then we can call for a special session.
I have a question for that. For confirmations, then, do we need a 15-day notice, or will that be a 2-day?
It'll be in the LR, so you just need 2 days.
Okay, so that's good. Floor recognizes Senator Not Afraid of Lots Grass, and after that would be Senator Stewart. Go ahead, Senator.
That was the question I had. He answered. Thank you.
Okay, Senator Stewart.
On the list for the Terrell, we got that, right? Okay, we're gonna have to have an infrastructure meeting, but what I want, the senators to do is, this is the only requirement where, in our commission, that there has to be a concurrence from the legislative senators for the nominee from the executive branch, so if that's the one, then however you wanna give us the thumbs up on that, then we'll go ahead and we'll solidify that person to the list for a hearing. And then we'll go forward like that as we can move forward. If there still needs to be more selection and more hearing, then there'll be another hearing at a different date. But if I can at least get 4 on the agenda for a committee hearing, then I'll go ahead and move forward, because that'll be quorum. So I just need to get the okay from your respective districts. So talk to whoever you need to talk to amongst yourself or whatever, and however you want to concur with that individual that the executive branch nominated.
All right. Thank you. Floor recognizes Secretary of the House.
I believe that also goes with the surface land,
Yeah.
land board.
Yeah.
I believe that's with each district too, the nominees.
So let me know.
So I believe there's 3, right? Terrell, Land Board, and Health Board.
Yeah.
They didn't submit anything for Health Board? Because I believe there's some that are coming up for Health Board, isn't there?
Yes, there is. However, there is a cabinet head position that we'll need to meet on as far as a
Yes,
confirmation.
Cabinet head too. Okay,
Confirmation hearing.
okay. All right, it's in the memo. Floor recognizes Senator Stewart.
One more thing real quick, as Secretary of the Land Surface, I don't know if AJ got hold of Duke, but there is, he was asking about the land board confirmations, and he wanted to know more on that. There's a couple things, issues that have arose, so we'll be discussing that. I actually have about 3 on the list right now, due in part to the requirement.
All right, any more announcements? I have one quick announcement. During our lunch break, I got a call from a friend of mine, Jonathan Windyboy, asking for a copy of all of our joint action resolutions that we passed today, because he's going to take them back to Rocky Boy for them to look at too, for their nation. The thing that woke him up is that someone from the state office of South Dakota had gotten a hold of the governor's office here. So the word got out somehow, and now South Dakota's asking Montana what's going on. So I think we're on the right track. So it's just letting you guys know that we're out there. The news is out. The Crow tribe is standing its ground, and I think they're starting to circle the wagons as we speak. So it's good job, good day. So that's it. Call for a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn. Do we have a second? Second. All those in favor of the motion to adjourn, say aye. Aye. Aye, all right.